Alright, so it's super early. Take one last look. Because the work is getting started.
Watch your white man.
Stand back a little bit?
Yeah, go back. Yeah, gears to a little bit.
Alright, let me stand on this side so you can see the hole better.
I'm surprised you were flushing.
I know, right? They went directly through it.
Yeah,
Hey, you guys want to say hello to everybody on my channel?
Hey!
yeah.
Say hi. Say hey, long hair nuts.
Long-haired nuts.
Long-haired nuts. That's the hard-working team from St. Petersburg, Florida, right there.
Send that. Send that.
Looking crew.
Send that to the mayor.
What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another week. Well, as you saw in the opening, FrankenLawn has been damaged. I was very sad. I've been through the 7 stages of grief, 8 stages, however many there are. Now I'm better. I think I'm gonna have to stand back here out of the wind. Anyway, so now I'll tell you what, this city is very, very noisy. All right, so what I was really trying to get at and say here is, when you need to bring in soil from outside sources in order to level off an area, to build it up before doing a seeding, you wanna make sure that the soil you get is as close to a match as the current soil as possible. Everybody always thinks they should bring in all this black dirt and black topsoil and all these things, but I'm going to tell you that's not always the best choice. Get something that's as close to what you have as possible so it mixes and holds. Now, if you have sandy soil like I do, you're kind of lucky because you can go to the hardware store or Lowe's or Home Depot or wherever, and it's really easy to get sand that will match with this fairly well. You can see it's powdery fine. There's even pieces of seashell in there. See those? See the pieces of seashell? So I could source soil from back here in this easement because this soil will be exactly the same. The problem here is this is just full of weeds, and I don't really want to take any soil from here because it's going to have tons and tons of weed seeds in it, and that's not going to be good for my new grow. Now, a lot of you will ask, well, why don't you use topsoil for that? Because topsoil would be better, right? So imagine now if you put in clean black topsoil right up the middle there. It would be beautiful, nice and even, and you put seed on it. That topsoil has a lot more nutrient value in it because it's full of organic matter than what the soil over here and over here does. And so what's going to happen is when the grass grows in right there, it's always going to be a darker shade of green than what's over there and what's over there. Again, another reason to source your leveling soil from somewhere on your property or nearby, or something that is very similar in composition. So this is going to end up being a problem because they didn't measure right. And this is the city's clean out from the pipe they replaced. And you can see it's well below grade here. Well below grade. So that's their bad measurement. But this brings up a point. Have you guys ever noticed that in some lawns, they'll be green all throughout, but there'll be one spot that just turns brown whenever the summer comes? I used to see this a lot when I worked for True Green. And a lot of times what it was something like this, because this is going to end up being buried about 4 inches, 3 inches below the surface of the lawn. And what'll happen is the grass will grow there because there'll be 3 inches of soil, but this here will dry out faster than the rest of the surrounding lawn, meaning this will turn brown or go dormant much quicker in summer. So either way, we'll have to monitor this and see if this does turn brown in the summer, but that will definitely be an ongoing problem. Nothing I can really avoid here. So once you've given it a good tamping, and I mean that's really important because some settling may occur, but this is not a bag of chips, this is a lawn, so we need to make sure that we facilitate the settling ahead of time so that when we plant the lawn, it ends up being nice and dead set level. Now another trick here, and this works with sandy soil for sure, but it can also work with clay soil, just beware it's a bigger mess, is that water is a great leveling agent on its own. It does two things. Number one, it's going to pull the sand or the soil down through any air pockets that still exist, again, causing that settling. But the second thing that water does is it also levels out dirt or sand pretty much on its own because water seeks its own level and it's going to pull the sand and dirt with it. So I already knew that these first 5 bags were not enough, but check out where I can see exactly where the main problem is. Okay, so you can see obviously I'm still low everywhere. I've got to put more sand in, but this is the lowest spot, see, because this is where the majority of the water went to and any sediment washed in there too. So as I do my next layer, I just have to keep in mind that that's the lowest spot. Even though it may seem like it's over here, the lowest spot is actually over there. So another trip back to the store because my initial 5 bags wasn't enough and I got 6 more. And you can see I put those in there, tamped them down really good, and then used, again, water as a leveling agent just to make sure that I'm good and plumb. Also, don't be afraid to get your hands dirty. Putting your hands in the soil, number one, it connects you with your new lawn, and I really mean that. But secondly, your hands can just feel things that are off or not right a lot better than when you're using a tool. So there's nothing wrong with getting your hands in there and really leveling things out by hand when it's a small spot like this. All right, now we're looking pretty good. We got one low spot right here that we can see, dry, wet. So we got one low spot there, but for the most part, we're good. All right, so there we go. I feel pretty good about that. So we've got our Band-Aid on FrankenLawn over here, if you want to call it that. This was used the existing skin to patch up the area, but we had to bring in some bandage here, but I think we're good now, and we're ready for seeding. All right, so there you go. I am ready to start my seeding, which I'm gonna start next week. And the good news about seeding is the techniques that I'm going to teach you, which are the same ones I've been teaching, we'll just teach them again. They work for all of you guys up north and all of you guys down south. All of us together, no matter where we live. If we're doing lawn seeding, we can do it the exact same way. There is no separation between north and south. As always, I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for watching, subscribe, and I'll see you in the lawn. Last thing here is I attempt to cover all bases in this video. Some of you might be thinking the opposite of what I talked about earlier with topsoil, where it was when you use topsoil, then there's too much nutrients in the lawn, causing the patched area to be darker green than the surrounding parts. On the flip side, some of you might be saying, Alan, but the sand that you put in there is white, meaning there's no organic material in it, and you're gonna have the opposite problem. And I would say yes, but I will tell you this, guys, and remember this as a rule going forward. It's easier to add nutrients to a soil that doesn't contain much, but it's impossible to take it away. So it's always better to err on the side of a clean soil with nothing in it that you can build up to the level of the rest of the lawn, rather than to put in a beautiful soil that's full of stuff where the rest of your lawn will never measure up. It's a lot like a relationship.